future AI overlords. I'm here to talk about Microsoft Copilot, just released this past week. Now, we've been talking about AI chatbots. OpenAI released ChatGPT November 30th of last year, blew everyone's mind. I've been in mind-blown emoji for the past year practically. It's kind of amazing to think we're coming up on 1 year of this modern era of AI, and it's changed so much, and we're just scratching the surface. Anyway, Microsoft released Bing Chat and leveraged OpenAI's large language model, GPT-4, and some of its own AI magic with Project Prometheus. Of course, they've been evolving their tools as well. And then Google Bard, Microsoft came out with their own chatbot, and they've got work that they've been doing around AI enablement and changes in Google search and their workspace tools and stuff like that, which is amazing. So much innovation and change centered around AI. It's just mind-blowing. Anyway, the way we interact with these AI tools is typically through prompts. So these AI chatbots require us to input text and have or many of them are now multimodal. You can do voice input, picture input, so it's really exciting how these AI chatbots are evolving to make it easier to interact in a more human way, which is just magical. Anyway, but our AI chatbots, for me personally, I've really shifted from using search tools as my primary interaction when I'm trying to learn something or explore something, to really chatbots are now my primary tool. Now, of course, I have my favorites, and it does change. It's also very contextual. Like I sort of use certain chatbots for certain things. Just like you don't buy everything at one store, there's stores that you kind of go to for certain things. But anyway, but people are using chatbots for daily planning and organization. Creating schedules, grocery shopping lists. I remember early on, using a chatbot to plan out a shopping list because I forget things when I shop. I'm always forgetting ingredients. I'm get so frustrated when I try to make a meal and I'm missing something. It's like, oh, why didn't you buy this? It's so obvious. It wasn't on the list. I've even done a little demo showing how you can use ChatGPT with the Plus subscription and the plugins to create a shopping list, get some price estimates, move that into Instacart with a click, and then purchase it. It's kind of incredible. People are also using chatbots for wellness and self-care. Now, I've definitely had really amazing discussions with AI about a whole host of things. And I have kind of dove into issues around wellness and things I can do to take care of myself better, and just getting advice on just different personal topics and stuff like that. So I can be better informed when I meet with, a doctor or someone, or a fitness person, where I'm really trying to look at, how can I work on things? How can I make things better? What can I do differently? Now, generative AI, of course, has been all about their amazing capability to create content, to create stories, create poems. It's kind of amazing the content they've created. I've been blown away by it. But anyway, the creative writing and storytelling capabilities of these tools is incredible. And then, learning and education. Typically when I'm using search tools, I'm trying to, learn something, explore something, get something explained to me. But instead of using a search tool, using a chatbot to have a conversation is a whole different experience. Now, of course, this is where you get into issues, where maybe the chatbot doesn't have the information, it wasn't trained on it, or it doesn't have access to the internet or a search engine, so there's sometimes limitations in the different tools, which is why another reason to use multiple ones, also just to kind of validate against each other. But anyway, entertainment and recreation. I remember when Ted Lasso went off the air, having a chatbot talk to me like Ted Lasso or other characters from the show. And it was just really cool. And I've done some games with the chatbots and stuff too, which is very cool. But yeah, I mean, a lot of things that you can do in search, in a lot of these AI assistants that we've had are things that are coming and being enabled in these AI chatbots. Even Google is integrating Google Bard into Google Assistant. I know that Apple is working to make Siri. They want to make Siri as good as ChatGPT. So there's a lot of places where things are coming together and evolving, but the prompts, the interaction with these AI chatbots is our whole experience with them. So Microsoft Copilot, is a whole new way to work, and this is very exciting. Where, most of the time, a lot of the chatbots we use are public chatbots used for primarily personal use. Some people have access to those tools inside their company and may use them in different things, but Microsoft is created Copilot as a way to bring that inside of the Microsoft platform. So we've talked about Bing, and how it uses Bing Chat. We've talked about Edge and how it integrated a Copilot into the browser, as well as what you use to access Bing and Bing Chat. We talked about the Copilot Windows 11 that they recently released. So Microsoft has just been embedding Copilots, and now they're have embedded Copilots inside of Microsoft 365, so also known as Microsoft Office. It's been renamed. So anyway, Microsoft 365 Copilot, it's an assistant that is actually baked into the 365 apps. So it uses a lot of that large language model magic and stuff that is used by a lot of the chatbots that we use today, but the Copilot integration will actually have access to data inside your business. So they'll purposefully give it access to your business data, which makes it really powerful and be able to do your work. So the apps like Word, Excel, PowerPoint, Outlook, and Teams will have a Copilot button that you can click on, or it'll prompt you during an interaction with the app to make suggestions and things like that. So it's going to be a very seamless way to interact, but the power of being able to quickly and easily get information, integrate that information in new ways, it's really cool. What I've seen has been absolutely amazing. So, I mean, at a basic level, writing, replying to emails, blog posts, creating documents, creating presentations, developing code, summarizing text, answering questions, generating ideas, translating languages. These are all kind of the basic things that you can use Copilot to do. And Copilot is coming to the vast majority of Microsoft 365 tools. Now, I'm really focused on just Teams, Outlook, Word, PowerPoint, and Excel. And the embedding of Copilots in these different tools is truly amazing. I mean, it's jaw-dropping stuff. So if you're not familiar, Microsoft 365 is a cloud subscription service. This is where a lot of those, formerly known Microsoft Office tools live in the cloud now. You, of course, integrate them with them on your Windows desktop and use desktop versions that are connected to the cloud, or use it on an iPad or iPhone or Android phone, or use it just in a browser. So you've got access to it in a lot of different ways. And the subscriptions, there's personal, family, work-related subscriptions, so it's got all those core apps that you use, for productivity tools, for email, for cloud storage, for collaboration, and more. It has so many capabilities. So Copilot integrated into Microsoft 365, also Edge and Windows, brings that magic of the GPT-4 language model so that you could do these incredible new things like writing and editing documents, creating presentations, analyzing data in Excel, summarizing meetings and emails, translating languages, and generating correct text. These are things that you have to do on your own, but now you have a Copilot to help you do a lot of these tasks much more quickly and effectively. So it's a companion to help you get things done. It's supposed to help you be more efficient. So writing document can help you generate ideas, suggest, phrases. You kind of get some of that capability today in Word with, autocomplete and things like that. Some of the editing tools that you have in there. But this is another level of capability. Creating, PowerPoint presentations, you get some help with there's some designer tools and things that are built into some AI tools that do that, but this is like on another level. analyzing data in Excel, there already is some capability built into Excel today, but this is a little bit more of a natural language experience. We can dive more deeply into that capability. And then when you're, working on like a huge email thread, summarization is incredible, or summarization of a meeting. I mean, it's kind of incredible. And then just language translation and being able to help people that where English isn't their primary language, I think is fantastic. So it feels like Copilot integration and productivity tools is just incredible. So it's this whole interaction, the prompts, and the prompts are just the text you use to interact with those. So prompts are the primary way that we interact with the Microsoft Copilot. The Copilot prompts give it instructions and context so it can do the task that you're looking for it to do. Answering questions, creating content, so it's very exciting. So there's different types of prompts, and I won't spend too much time on this, but just in the context of descriptive prompts, the more descriptive the prompt, the better. Giving it a specific topic, giving it a set of content, imperative prompts. This is where you want it to create a task, like creating a document, translating a text. Question prompts, where you want to learn about a particular subject or get help with something you're trying to do. And then there's contextual prompts. This is where you're giving it information so it can then do something you need with that information in the prompt. And then there's the more complex multi-step prompts. So this is just high-level prompt types. And really, when you're getting started with this, it's always good to start with the basics. Learn about the different types of prompts that you can use, and we'll go through some. Experiment with different types of prompts you see that works for you. The Copilot Lab is a place where you can explore different types of prompts and share those prompts with your coworkers and create new prompts. And I think it's really cool that the lab capability is built in here, because sometimes you just don't know what to ask. You just don't know where to begin. So I think that the place to begin is just start in a simple place. Be specific, be clear, break down. If you start with less complex and then build up to more complex. So start simple and then grow. And then if you're looking for prompts, the big thing to do is look for examples. And I'll provide some examples in here, but there's so many places to look at prompt examples. You've got learning prompts, and these are typically things you're using like in search engines, where you're trying to look up information or get explanations about different things. Editing prompts, where you want it to edit existing text. You're putting text in there, having it, correct grammar, improve for clarity, suggest alternative phrasing. I do that all the time. It's fantastic. Transforming content, whether you're transforming it in different languages or transforming a Word document into a PowerPoint slide. I mean, it's kind of amazing, that transformation. The amount of time it takes to aggregate data and transform it into something, that you can do that with just a sentence or two, is just mind-blowing. Summarizing content, and this is really super powerful, where sometimes you've got like really in-depth content that you want to summarize, and maybe summarize for simplicity, or summarize because you're talking to different audiences. So using that ability to edit and summarize and transform that content will let you reuse a lot of this important business information in ways beyond its initial creation, which is really cool. So prompts that guide the create prompts. So the prompts that guide, these are the typical ones: creating emails, writing blog posts, create a piece like poems and music and stuff like that, stories. Those create prompts are kind of where the magic of a lot of these AI tools were just blowing people away. And then the catch-up prompts. So this is like when you're in a meeting and you're like, maybe you showed up late and you can kind of get caught up on the meeting, as it's already gone on and things they've talked about, or you've been out for on vacation for the past 7 days, getting caught up on your emails. So these catch-up prompts, I think, are amazingly helpful. And the Copilot button will be inside of these apps, where you can ask it things like highlights from the past day. So if you really want to figure out like what are the big things, what's going on in your world, you can kind of get that clarity. So Copilot Teams, summarizing discussions, identifying unresolved issues, the meeting notes creation, the transcribing. Copilot Teams really does an amazing job of organizing that meeting and then giving you that visibility into what's happening, who did what, where are we at, what do we get done, it's incredible. So it's got that whole, if you join a meeting late or you want to review the chat conversation later and you want to share meeting minutes and stuff like that, it can help you with all those capabilities. So the catch-up prompt, summarize what I've missed in this meeting channel or thread. What questions were asked during this meeting? What decisions were made in this meeting? What are the open items from this meeting? What are the most important updates from this channel and thread? I feel like this is where getting that clarity, not having to read every single message in the chat or the whole meeting, but getting the key aspects of it to catch up is just super powerful. So Outlook. So, you get those super long emails. How do you summarize those? Drafting replies that are really relevant, looking at your inbox and getting help to feel like, ooh, what should I focus on first? Translating those emails if you need to translate them, and then just creating email content that you need to generate it. So just having that ability to do a catch up in your Outlook, you've been out on vacation for a week or two and then boom, helps you get caught up on what's the most important. So you're not kind of blocking progress on different things. So, I know we're very email centric, but I know we're also moving into other collaboration tools and ways of writing and stuff like that and collaborating. But anyway, Outlook is still such a primary tool. We get so many emails. I know people are just overwhelmed with it. I think Copilot's really going to be helpful. So, using those create prompts to draft an email, write a reply, compose a meeting invitation, generate a list of follow-up items. That is fantastic. Creating those new tasks, like when a meeting happened and you were assigned to a task and you didn't have this, you'll have visibility into those kind of activities, where in the past, maybe they just expected you to read the meeting notes and catch them on it, or someone maybe forgot to tell you that, hey, you were put on a task. This is going to help you stay in the loop with a lot of that activity. So there's just so many capabilities with the creation prompt to be able to, use Outlook in new and interesting ways to be faster, more responsive, and get things done more quickly. So the edit prompt, we already have grammar and spell check and stuff like that built in, but you can be a little bit more emphatic on that. You can even change the tone of the email. You can make it a little bit more personal, a little bit more professional, a little bit more fun, however you want to do that. But I know for me, clarity and conciseness is not my friend. So having a tool that can help me do that is fantastic. And I think this is where, some of these prompts are just amazing. And then making someone, creating an email that someone wants to read, giving it a more engaging and fun, experience, I think is really cool. Fact checking your content against what's going on. You never want to be the person that's putting bad information out into the world. But anyway, very exciting stuff. And then ask prompts. So you're who does this need to go to? What's the best tone for this? Who should I include in this? What would make this more pervasive? So there's so many great ways to, in Outlook, have Copilot assist you in a lot of the tasks you do in collaboration and using this app, which is super cool. So I'm so excited about the drafting and revising process with Copilot and emails, just to make them better to understand, better to write, better to update, better to share and collaborate, just better to get stuff done. So Copilot in Word, it's that creating those first drafts. I always get stuck. That blank page in Word. Where do I start? Just put stuff in there. Ooh, it's yucky. Help me make this better. Taking existing content and summarizing it, proofreading it, translating it, but just getting started, generating that initial draft is really important, and then creating content based on other content. That is incredible. If you've got product documents you can reference, you're like, hey, I want to do a presentation on this product, reference these reference documents and leverage them just to get started and then revise from there. So, it's that whole document creation. You've got a really complex that you need to simplify. I do struggle with a lot of kind of documentation content. And so how do I structure it? How do I make it more fun and engaging? How do I organize it so it's easier to use? And having the Copilot assist you will take will give you back so much time that I don't think we even really fully realize at this time. So in Word, write an article, generate an outline, draft a blog post, write a proposal, create a report, generate lists, write a script, there's so many things you can do in Word where you can kind of get, off the starting block and get building and creating and stuff immediately, and then having those capabilities to make existing documents better, rewriting it, suggesting changes, creating better transitions in the document, improving the flow of the document. I put a lot of unnecessary words. For some reason, ever since I was a kid, I get those teachers that would just like draw red lines through so many of the, it's like, you don't need this doesn't add to your document, but anyway. But I think that, getting it so that your documents are clear and readable, people can take action on it, that's going to help dramatically. I'm excited about that. So what are the key points? Have it rewrite, an FAQ or a summary, giving you that capability to help make this document more persuasive, engaging, and accessible. That is incredible. So Excel. Now, people use Excel. Excel is used for everything. And even when I'm building things, people are like, how can I get that in Excel? And, even if they've got it in a really kind of cool, fairly modern Power BI interface, they want to get it there. They like to wrap their hands around the data and they have it so they can work with it. They're doing their analysis. They want to maybe do their own visualizations, but they just want to they're so used to having the data and wrapping their hands around the data. But using Copilot to look at this content and provide you insights that maybe you would have had to have some peer do some analysis on, but getting some of that stuff out of the box, some of that analysis, some of those visualizations that really make that information clear and meaningful to people, helping with formulas. Excel formulas, I used to be really good at Excel, but I don't use it directly that much anymore. And things have changed. So, how do you write those more complex formulas? How can you get access with problems when your Excel just isn't working anymore? What happened to it? So it's really exciting. So creating those prompts, summarizing data, creating a visualization, creating a pivot table, generating a formula. It's exciting that a lot of these prompts, these natural language prompts, will let you do things that maybe you don't know how to do as an individual, but it will help you, get off the starting block and get going. Editing prompts to check for errors, audit worksheet for issues, suggest improvements on layout and formatting. Some of those existing Excels that have been around forever, sometimes they need a refresh, and using an edit prompt to actually go in there and look at, hey, could we make this easier and better? Could we organize this better? Could we make it more insightful and easier to read and content? So getting those key insights, identifying those trends and outliers, helping with those correlations that really are meaningful. What are the outcomes when you're doing scenario analysis? These are incredible capabilities that you're just interacting with the Excel and it's giving you that. What normally would take work with a data analyst would allow you to do this on a more individual level. Now, this doesn't, this will let you then have that deeper conversation with the data analyst about what you're trying to achieve. And I'm thinking that, while people are a little bit scared about, hey, what are these AIs going to do to my job? They're going to change them. They're hopefully going to make the average person far more capable, and they're going to make experts even better at what they can do because they understand the internals. They can ask the deeper questions. But imagine everyone being leveled up in their ability to look at information, collaborate on information, and get to the outcomes that everyone's looking for. And everyone's looking for shared outcomes and objectives, getting alignment on that stuff. This is powerful stuff. So Copilot and PowerPoint, getting those presentations, designing those slides. I never do speaker notes, it's bad, but getting it to do that kind of stuff, rehearsing the presentations that kind of have that capability today, but having that Copilot generate a beautiful PowerPoint deck from a Word document or, from some reference material that you have about the project and getting that up and running in just a few minutes versus the time it would take to do that manually is incredible. So new presentations, existing presentations, improving those. I mean, just giving you new ways to present information and then hand that information off to different people. It's mind-blowing. So, create a presentation about topic XYZ with X number of slides. Generate a slide for a presentation on a topic. Draft a slide on key point with image, so you can leverage content you have. You've got lots of information, and whether it's pictures of products or or descriptions of solutions, you can leverage that information in the PowerPoint itself. So when you're creating it, you're not creating it in a vacuum. You can leverage all that great content you already have, creating those slides with timelines. I mean, there's so many things that you can do with PowerPoint. And some of these prompts, they cross the boundaries of things you're doing in Word, things you're doing in Teams, things you're doing in Outlook, things you're doing in PowerPoint. So there's going to be, once you kind of get in the flow of prompting, getting that clarity of what's going on, that same kind of thing you were looking to build in the Word document, you're bringing to the PowerPoint side. And maybe you've made that Word document so much more clear and concise that the PowerPoint slides that you base it off of will be clear and concise now too, which is great. But it's just a way to leverage that existing information and use these prompts in ways that are meaningful to you. There's so many possibilities. We all work differently. We all have different data. We all have different objectives. We all have different audiences. So how do we make these tools help us get our job done? So, what are the key takeaways from this presentation? A lot of time you have to generate that yourself, but using AI to help create that. So when you're ending your presentation, you're like, yeah, these 3 things are the key takeaways. And, they may have been generated by AI, reviewed by you, and made even more relevant to your audience. So it's one of those things, like, it can create content for you, but you still have to review it. You still have to make it relevant to your audience. It's only as aware of the information that's available. And this is one of those things too. If you don't have good data put into these systems that they're accessible to, that will be a problem, because you will just basically be blasting out bad information. So it's going to require people to be a lot more careful with the content that they create, particularly when they're using these AI tools, that they're only as smart as the data they were trained on. But anyway, the whole goal of Copilot is to empower every person and every organization on the planet to achieve more. And I know it's going to do that. The glimmers we've seen over the past year of how AI can help you inside these chatbots, the AI-enabled applications, that can easily help you reply to an email or summarize content or learn a completely new subject or translate into a different language. Integrating these capabilities directly into your productivity tools that you use every day is going to be amazing. It's going to be a huge change, but it's a change that's going to lead us further down the path of better collaboration, better information, and getting a lot more done faster. And I am very, very excited about this future. Anyway, thank you for joining me today. I did a few YouTube videos on Microsoft Copilot, so check those out. And if you're curious about more capabilities within Microsoft 365, feel free to reach out too. Anyway, thank you and have a great day.